Program Director / MC for this morning's proceedings. Happy to see you all in the new year. This is our first press conference, and I don't think it'll be a waste of your time. I don't like to call press conferences that could have been an email. So I'm glad you're all here and ready with all your questions. A running order, you can see the people here before you. Starting on my far right-hand side is the Secretary General, Masego from Forum for Service Delivery. Next to her is Dr. Kekana, who's the President of Forum for Service Delivery. We have Michael Beaumont, who's the National Chairperson of ActionSA. And we've got, obviously, Ndate Mashaba, who will be making the keynote remarks this morning. With that said, without any further ado, we will go through the program and order of proceedings, and then we will have a question and answer session. And for those interviews with any of the panelists, you will just let myself know, or Devan, that guy there in the denim jacket, and we will organize those interviews for you. Are we good? Can we start? TV, we good? All righty. With that said, over to you, Mr. Beaumont.
Thank you very much indeed, Sam. Sanbonani, Molweni, Dumelang, good morning, Goeiemorgen. It's great to be with you here today, and before I begin to acknowledge those with us, start to recognize that we are beginning this new year with something that South Africans are just not accustomed to anymore, and that's positive politics. We are here to end the era of political party self-interest and talk about how political parties must come together in the interest of South Africans. And let me start by acknowledging the leadership of the Forum for Service Delivery for being here, get to here in the first instance. And let me too acknowledge my president, Herman Mashaba, and the leadership of ActionSA who are present here today, but also a very special thank you to the members for the Forum for Service Delivery who've traveled far and wide to be with us here today. Your presence is acknowledged, it is appreciated, and if the first few hours of this morning is anything to go by, we have a very positive relationship going forward for the South African people, so thank you. Let me start by saying that the reason we are here today takes place very directly in the context of what transpired after the May 2024 elections. In the May 2024 elections, we saw the formation of this colossus in South African Parliament called the GNU, in which 70% of Parliament now resides in that government, and already a great concern for the paralysis that we're already experiencing from national government. And as they say in the law of gravity, for every action there must be an equal but opposite reaction. On the other hand, you have the so-called Progressive Caucus, which occupies a large part of Parliament, but now you have a group of parties outside of that environment that it is left to them to become an effective opposition and to provide the rational centre of South African politics when all else around them appears to be failing. It is in this context that ActionSA Senate, meeting on the 3rd and 4th of June last year, came to the view that we will need to develop relationships with other political parties and form cooperation agreements so that we can bring more and more people together in this particular environment. And I think from the point of view of the South African people, what this means is that the next time you go to vote, we shouldn't have such comically long ballot papers again. We should have more and more political parties focusing on what they agree about in your interests, and fewer political parties focusing on what makes them different from their own political self-interest. And that is why we are saying today, and many times over, today is not the end of the road. Today is the first step of many that ActionSA will be taking to uniting the opposition and bringing political parties together in the interests of South Africans. And judging by the response of our political opponents this week, if any of you have had the misfortune of witnessing their response on social media, we are clearly doing the right thing. And we're very happy about that. I know that many of you are keen to hear about our engagements with other political parties. I've noticed many pundits who I think have gotten it wrong by saying that today's significance would only be there if it is parties who are represented in Parliament. And what I'll say to you is this: please respect this occasion. Please respect that we are here with an organization that has a local government footprint as we approach a local government election. And yes, we will be engaging with political parties represented in Parliament, but MPs do not help you in a local government context. Municipal councillors help you as you head towards a local government election. And I think in that context, it's important to say that as far back as September, ActionSA was engaged by the Forum for Service Delivery and Dr. Kekana specifically, after we had departed from the multi-party charter. And I think Dr. Kekana may convey some views on that itself. But we were engaged by the Forum for Service Delivery to talk about how we could come together. And I think that gives you a sense of how long these engagements have been going on and how much consideration has gone into them. So this process has taken many months and culminated in this particular moment today. But let me tell you some things about the Forum for Service Delivery that I think is important for you to understand as you consider the political significance of this moment here today. The organization was launched in 2015. It is 10 years old, and it has enjoyed stable leadership over 10 years, which not many political parties can claim that. It contested the 2016 local government election in just 30 of the 278 municipalities across South Africa and secured 30 seats, 86,000 votes. It was the 10th largest party in South Africa, despite contesting only those municipalities, and the 4th largest party in the Northwest Province. It accomplished this without funding of any kind. During that term of office, the Forum for Service Delivery brought no less than 6 motions of no confidence against corrupt and failing ANC mayors and removed every one of those 6 mayors as part of their efforts. They were one of the first applicants in the Constitutional Court case opposing the Minister of Kekana in the IEC, trying to delay the 2021 local government elections, and were instrumental in ensuring that South Africans enjoyed the right to vote without having their constitutional right to change their government every 5 years impeded upon by those institutions. In the 2021 elections, they contested in 40 municipalities in which they won 38 seats in 5 provinces: the Northwest, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, the Northern Cape, and the Free State, securing 81,000 votes and were the 16th largest political party in South Africa. From that election, they secured a mayoral seat, 8 members of mayoral committees, and 8 chairpersons of municipal public accounts committees, which, as you know, are vital institutions in holding government to account for performance. As they stand today, the Forum for Service Delivery has over 42,000 members that they bring to the table, structures in 6 provinces, and this is what the Forum for Service Delivery brings to our organization. It is also important to say that they bring leadership. And leadership is not always something that you can quantify in the way that you can with votes and seats. But I can tell you the man to my right and the team of people he brings to ActionSA are going to be very important assets to our organization and very strong leaders in the South African political future. Let me say something about the agreement that we have concluded between our 2 organizations. And I thought there's no more fitting place than to begin with the preamble to this agreement, which tells you a little bit about why we have come together, not just how. It reads as follows: whereas both ActionSA and the Forum for Service Delivery share a common vision for South Africa of a prosperous and peaceful country whose citizens are served by a competent and ethical government. And whereas both ActionSA and the Forum for Service Delivery are deeply concerned about the direction of our country under this grand coalition that emerged in the wake of the 2024 elections, following 30 years of ANC misgovernance of South Africa. And whereas both ActionSA and the Forum for Service Delivery recognize the inherent threat to democracy when the opposition space has been vacated in the rush of parties to enter government that occasions the need for a strong opposition. And whereas both ActionSA and the Forum for Service Delivery recognize the urgent need of uniting South Africans in the abandoned center of our country's politics, where both parties seek to build a new political alternative. And whereas both ActionSA and the Forum for Service Delivery acknowledge the reality that most South Africans live in broken municipalities, whose long-term political leadership failures have led to the collapse of infrastructure and associated service delivery that requires a new alternative to parties that hold residents over many. Now, therefore, the parties enter into the following mutual cooperation agreement. In this agreement, the salient features thereof is that going forth from this time, these organizations will campaign under the banner and the identity of ActionSA. We will campaign together and we will contest the 2026 local government elections as ActionSA. ActionSA has amended our constitution to ensure that we have established the position of a deputy president of our organization, which the president of ActionSA will speak more about just now. Members of the Forum for Service Delivery will be encouraged to join ActionSA, and let me say this loud and clear, they will join as equal citizens under the same political party, enjoying all of the same rights, all of the same privileges, and all of the same protections that ActionSA members enjoy. We will not be former members, we will be current members together. We have enabled a dual membership system in our organization that will allow for the councillors, the 38 councillors of the Forum for Service Delivery, to hold membership both of the Forum for Service Delivery and ActionSA. And this was a vital step to ensure that those seats are not lost, but they are retained. But importantly, they will begin the work of governing under an ActionSA policy suite and an ActionSA constitution. All members who sign up will be subject to the ActionSA constitution, and in the near future, a joint elective conference will be held at which these organizations will formally come together and we will interweave our leadership structures across the 9 provinces and at a national level. In the intervening period, there will be an amalgamation of structures in which the presidents of the 2 organizations will sit down to determine the appropriate leaders at a regional, a provincial, and a national level to sit on structures so that those structures are jointly represented in such a manner that going forward, there is one organization. Those are the salient details of this agreement to merge, but it is very important to say that the real work begins after this moment, because an agreement signed between a handful of people is one thing, but now we need to go to the ground. We need to go to communities, we need to sign up members of the organizations, and we need to come together in a way which creates one organization with one mission and one purpose for the South African people. And that work will begin as soon as next week, where the presidents of both organizations will be on the road, engaging those communities and ensuring what we have is a successful agreement. And as I said to you earlier, it is important to note that this is the first of many steps that ActionSA will be taking, because it is necessary to unite the opposition space. We are very proud of the organization to my right and what they have done to bring us here to this point. And we know that together we will work to bring other political parties to the table so that we can become a bolder and stronger alternative for the South African people. Many of these talks are still in their infancy stages, and while we can confirm they are existing, at this stage it is important to say they are exploratory in nature, and that it is going to be only in time in which we can talk further about the status of these talks and their likelihood of success. But to the South African people, we acknowledge the fact that bold leadership is required in our country. And I want to tell you, these kind of engagements are difficult, very difficult, because it involves giving. ActionSA had to give, and the Forum for Service Delivery had to give. But ultimately, those sacrifices made by both organizations create a better outcome for the South African people. And we can say to them today, you can expect more of that in your interest going forward. But allow me to introduce the president of the Forum for Service Delivery, who is going to be our next speaker as we play musical chairs around these microphones. And let me say this. He has a postgraduate diploma in management. He has a master's in governance. He has a doctorate in political science. And with all of those things seemingly being not enough, he then pursued an LLB, which he has recently attained. So we're looking at a very highly qualified person. He launched this organization 10 years ago, and he has put his blood, sweat, and tears into that organization. And let me tell you, as founders of an organization, we know the sacrifices that are made to get your organization to this point. And we commend you, sir, for the fact that you did not choose to hold on to the point where your organization could not proceed, but you came together in the interests that we have achieved together. He has led an organization that has had little resources, but has been well led and has grown organically across rural provinces in particular of South Africa. And he is an individual that we believe is going to be vital to the work of stimulating the building of structures across the country for ActionSA. But I think this is an appropriate time perhaps to let me speak for himself, let him speak for himself, and thank him very much for the sacrifices that he has made to bring us here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Greetings to the leadership of Forum for Service Delivery, the leadership of ActionSA, under President Herman Philip Mashaba, the National Chairperson, Mr. Beaumont, the communication team of ActionSA, the provincial structures, regional structures, and all the structures of Forum for Service Delivery and ActionSA, the mayors who are here today, the speakers who are here today, the members of parliament and various legislatures, the councillors who are here today, and the media houses present here today. Dr. Mbahare Kekana was born in a small village in an area called Gaseabe, now recently falls under Mpumalanga. Among others, I worked as a director for Women Settlement Department in Northwest Province before I joined politics in full-time basis. Besides politics, I'm a self-confessed education activist, academia with several qualifications from multiple universities and still pursuing other more. The reason why we formed Forum for Service Delivery, among others, was due to the incidents which happened due to the incompetency of ANC regime. The incidents whereby we saw some activists getting brutally killed, incidents where we saw a young citizen lost his life. And we then said, enough is enough. We cannot let their death be in vain. I'm talking about Moses Pagwe, a councillor and corruption whistleblower who was assassinated on the 14th of March 2009. That is 2 days after handing over a dossier pertaining to corruption in Rustenburg Local Municipality. I'm talking about none other than Andries Tatane, a service delivery activist who in 2011 was brutally killed by the police under ANC government at Ditsobotla Local Municipality. I'm talking about Gloria Sekwena, who was in 2012 while trying to assist his son to access education. She was then killed during a stampede at the University of Johannesburg. If that was not enough, in 2014, a 5-year-old Michael Komape was left to fall in a pit toilet at Polokwane Local Municipality in Limpopo. Following these incidents, we then said we cannot fold our arms. We need to then do something as the young people of the country. By then, we had an NGO called Service Delivery Challenges. We then convert that NGO into a political party called Forum for Service Delivery. The concept was further informed by the spread of service delivery protests and anomalies across the country. In addition, the aim was to educate communities about their rights on activism, where citizens should preserve the state assets during the protest. The Forum for Service Delivery was also initiated due to IEC, which we all know has abandoned its duties to do what we call electoral or political awareness or education. We all know that the independent candidates in our country are actually sidelined by the laws of our country. We also wanted to assist them. Then in 2015, we then officially launched Forum for Service Delivery. And we then modeled it as an 80% service delivery, 20% politics model of an organization. Our main issues was to tackle grassroots matters such as water, sanitation, housing, immigration laws, electoral reforms, electricity, education, ECD challenges, youth challenges, and disability issues. The party contested, like what our chairperson has indicated, we contested for the first time in 2016 in about 5 provinces. We attained close to 30 council seats. We then, in 2021, contested again at local government and attained 8 council seats. We are now having a mayor who's here today, a mayor of Ditsobotla, the most troublesome municipality in the country. But that municipality, Forum for Service Delivery, is putting it to stability. This to us, as Forum for Service Delivery, it's a very great achievement, considering that we all know Section 2(6) of the Constitution is discriminating against parties at local level. We all know that Political Party Funding Act doesn't care about parties at local level, whereby there's no funding. If we were fortunate, as Forum for Service Delivery, that the parties at a local level are funded, same as the parties at national, I think we could have done more, including take over some 1 or 2 provinces. We all know, sitting here, South Africa has not turned out the way we all dreamt it to hold 30 years into democracy. All the struggles, aspirations, and hopes of our people have amounted next to nothing. The majority of young people still have nothing. South Africa have new expectations. A new generation is emerged, ambitious and disgruntled, frustrated and impatient. We all know what we call AMA 2000. They are so impatient because they cannot tolerate what the GNU is giving them at the current moment. Service delivery in rural municipalities, it's in shambles, due to the fact that the ruling party, it is not ready to co-govern, especially in areas where it is in coalition with other political parties. Our opposition parties in rural areas are very weak, and they are bulldozed and forced into maladministration. Service delivery and governance at local level and other spheres of government, they are confronted by corruption, factionalism within the ruling regime. As we are beginning this journey today, the poor have no hope of being serviced. Struggling with jobs, the poor are struggling with water, the roads, electricity, and all that. So this journey is not about ActionSA. It is not about Forum for Service Delivery. This journey is a calling, it's bigger than us. It doesn't matter what name we're going to use, but it is not about politics. It's about everyone who actually loves this country. We all know that every year, millions of rands are actually wasted on fruitless, irregular expenditures and wasteful expenditures, which amount to millions or billions of rand. And what is more painful is that is taxpayers' money. And this issue is recurring year in, year out in terms of AG report. The public sector is perishing, only focusing on self-enrichment. Public officials have no required education, skills, knowledge to address service delivery. Forum for Service Delivery has always been aware of political landscape of our country. During the 2024 national and provincial elections, the party started collaborations with other small parties at local level, even though our success was so minimal. This one is very important. When ActionSA resigned from multi-party charter, or should I call multi-party disaster?
Too soon, too soon.
When ActionSA decided to cut its umbilical cord with DA, which was was very, very abusive all over the place, especially in Tshwane, we saw it as the right time to say now we can go and talk to ActionSA so that we confront a directionless GNU, or should I say, a grand coalition of ANC and opportunistic DA. Furthermore, we all know what happened in Botswana. The umbrella for democratic change in Botswana, which actually consists of 3 political parties, have actually demonstrated that parties coming together under one umbrella, they are unstoppable to a level of taking a country. So it's no longer about individualism, it's about our country. Hence, Forum for Service Delivery. We thought hard, and we then started the discussion with service-oriented party named ActionSA, a party whose president, Mr. Herman Mashaba, puts South African first, a party which intends to protect our country from illegal foreign national total hijack, a party which supports electoral reform for our country. We all know that in this country, every 1 year, 6 months, there are elections. That's why there's a need of electoral reform. We need to advocate for a single elections, whereby the elections of national and local must be brought together, like any other countries, like Zimbabwe, whereby they only vote once. There's no this issue of voting every 2 months. So we need that money can be spent on service delivery rather than on elections. This is ActionSA, similarly with just like Forum for Service Delivery. It believes in education as a basic right for citizens of our beloved country. The 2024 national elections showed us that the current situation in our country demands a fundamental shift in the political landscape. Our people have not yet found a political home that can address their needs. Every elections, we have around 21 million citizens who are not actually voting. So clearly there's a lacuna, there's a gap in terms of the political menu which our country is giving to them. Hence, we ActionSA as an umbrella to address that issue. What the failing GNU is telling us is that an agent fundamental rearrangement is called for. Unless we collectively work together in unity of purpose and clarity of vision to serve our people and transform the unethical, unproductive, and arrogant behaviors of our leaders, we will, as a nation, continue to demonstrate that we are incapable of governing ourselves and further collapse municipalities and organs of state. We, as Forum for Service Delivery, we have understood that we cannot fix South Africa alone. This task is too big for one party alone. We have done well as a party for approximately 10 years with over 35 councillors across 4 provinces in this country. It might take us another 10 years to reach the entire nation, and we don't have that time. Our communities cannot wait any time further. However, by combining our capacities and leadership, expertise and experience with ActionSA, we believed that our shared values and aspirations will propel us further in doing our part to fix South Africa. We want to start in 1 year, 6 months from now. We want to start in 2026 and then go for national elections. So in 2026, we are looking to take a lot of municipality outright, not this thing of coalition. We need to have municipality under the umbrella of ActionSA. I also want to express my gratitude to ActionSA leadership, President Herman Mashaba, the National Chairperson, Michael Beaumont, for their visionary leadership and humanity. In all of our discussions, I can tell you they were not an easy discussions. They were very, very tough discussions. Through their quickness and adaptivity, for them to adapt in accepting me as the person sent to negotiate on behalf of the Forum for Service Delivery. And also, we want to thank the entire leadership of ActionSA for their humanity. Because of coming together, we will reach our goal. I'm aware that it is difficult and involves many dynamics. What I'm saying here is that we are fully aware that change is not going to be easy. We're going to face a lot of problems. But this is bigger than us, like I said earlier on. But the leadership collective of ActionSA has kept the broader picture. Equally, the leadership of Forum for Service Delivery has kept a broader picture that this is not about ourselves. It's about the people of our country. The country is in a state of emergency. The emergency required to constitute like-minded political parties and bring on board competent, proven leaders to steer this huge undertaking, which cannot be underestimated. This will be my immediate task, to go on the ground and develop structures for this umbrella called ActionSA. This will be my immediate task, to go and develop leaders through a political academy, which will then help us to produce credible, humble leaders. We will further recruit leaders of capacity. If need be, we will go and fetch other leaders from other political parties who are actually underutilized. We'll go and fetch them physically in those parties so that they can come here and apply their skills. It's not going to be easy, but we can assure that a party without structures it's gonna give us a problem. But we'll go to the ground and build structures. We all, in conclusion, we need all hands on the deck to actively sell ActionSA umbrella vision and engage with various sectors of our communities in order to recruit new members and voters. From now on, we will be welcoming new leaders, members, and parties that share our values and vision. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the entire leadership of Forum for Service Delivery in all the structures, especially National Forum Executive Council. I also want to thank our members and the voters of Forum for Service Delivery who have been with us since 2015. We are saying to them, this is an umbrella. Let's come together and respond to a new political landscape. From now on going forward, the councillors of Forum for Service Delivery will take up dual membership until the end of local government term. All the structures and wings of Forum for Service Delivery will be amalgamated with ActionSA structures. Time is now. We need to act as one in support and voting for this new alternative called ActionSA going forward during the by-elections, local government elections, and national elections. We are here, and we are here to tell the country that we are creating one big green umbrella for all South Africans of every race, color, and creed, old and young, and voters alike. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael, for your fine introduction, for laying out the purpose of this gathering here this morning. It's really been fantastic. And thank you, too, to Sam and for managing the program for this important evening. Sam, thank you so much. I also would like to thank Sam and Masego, respectively from ActionSA and Forum for Service Delivery, as well as other members of our teams for working together to create the smooth delivery of this important event. Good morning to you all, including members of the Fourth Estate gathered here today. I must thank ActionSA, Senate, and other party structures for their support of this very important milestone in the relatively young journey of ActionSA, only 4 years old, and for having invested the trust in the team that led the negotiations to this point. I must also thank Dr. Mbahare, Kekana, and the entire leadership of Forum for Service Delivery for the impressive work they've already done in our communities, as well as the wisdom in recognizing that the work that remains to be done to hear our communities requires like-minded political formations to hold hands, roll up their sleeves, and work together for the greater good of our country, South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot has already been said about the lasting effects of the post-2024 general elections on our political terrain. Other than the ANC-led Government of National Unity, GNU, with 9 of former opposition parties of all sizes locked up in it, we are left at national level with a relatively newcomer, the anti-constitution Zuma-led MK party, as the new official opposition in the National Assembly. Alongside it, it is the EFF. The last time I checked, the two of them regarded themselves as a progressive caucus, even though much of their engagement and other utterances can more suitably be ascribed as regressive. Also, given the sinister, acrimonious paging of senior EFF leaders by the MK party, I doubt the two organizations get along well. But those are matters for them to resolve. What I can tell you with absolute certainty is that ActionSA is the only constructive opposition party in the National Assembly. Our caucus of 6, one of them, I saw him here, Dr. Litlape, might be way smaller than those of MK and EFF combined, but it has consistently punched way above its weight, right from the start of the 7th administration. You will probably call me biased, and I will not argue against that. I am biased, of course, but with reason. Just have a look at the number and quality of questions of national interest asked and issues raised by our caucus. Then you judge for yourselves. But let not digress further. We are not gathered here this morning to boast about the sterling performance record of our caucus in the National Assembly. Its work already speaks for itself. What we are here to witness this morning is not only historical, it is also very necessary for our country. You will agree that much of the pain of South African communities is at the coalface of service delivery at local government level. It is also sadly at this level that too many incompetent, unethical, and criminally minded individuals have been appointed. Some call it political deployed over the years. Thanks to too many years of one-party dominance or scavenger coalitions that place their own interest above those of the communities they were meant to serve. The damage inflicted on local government has gone too deep and septic. We need healing. What ActionSA and Forum for Service Delivery are here to communicate this morning is not the start and end of a journey. It is an agreement to match and start what will be a concerted drive to consolidate like-minded political formations over time, particularly ahead of the 2026 local government elections, to facilitate the take-back of local government from uncaring, opportunistic parties, to bring it into the hands of men and women who will be carefully selected based on their abilities, qualifications, and dedications to serve the much abused people of our country. It is the beginning of a journey. Watch the space, and you will see other formations joining us over time as we build a powerful bloc of the truly progressive for South Africa. We can no longer stand aside and be concerned only with the immediate ground we are standing on. Focus only on our political belly buttons. Starting from the 2021 local government elections, South African voters have steadily been making it clear that the era of one-party dominance is no longer desirable at all 3 levels of government: national, provincial, and local. It is a trend that we accept to see growing into the foreseeable future, and that we must prepare adequately for this. This is exactly what we aim to do. Those of you who are not yet familiar with Dr. Kekana, you will see in no time that he is a quiet political force to be reckoned with, and he gets things done. Born in a village, as is already indicated, called Siabe, former Buputatswana, now part of Mpumalanga. And in fact, I need to declare in advance to South Africa, our members and everyone, during my negotiations, I discovered it comes from Siabe. And I don't know if some of you know me and read about me. I'm a son-in-law of that village. My wife comes from Siabe. What a coincidence. So for 45 years, I think he was not yet born when I decided to I'm a son-in-law of that village. So it is just a coincidence. So I just really thought in advance that you know that him and I, we've got some kind of relationship. Obviously, I don't know his home. I've not been to Siabe in many years, but I'm sure people of Siabe will be really very happy to really know that Mashaba is not only interested in the women, he's also interested. He's also interested in their welfare. That is why Dr. Kekana here. Dr. Mbahare Johannes Kekana founded Forum for Service Delivery in 2015. He has an in-depth, extensive academic and political background, which is grounded on a significant professional experience in governance, public administration, and human rights. He holds a postgraduate diploma management from the University of the Northwest, a Bachelor of Law LLB degree from Monash University, South Africa, and has completed structured work course at the School of Legal Practice through UNISA. He has also embarked on an academic journey by reading for a master's degree in governance and political transformation at the University of the Free State, and a doctorate in political science at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, which he completed in 2023. Thanks to his academic journey, Dr. Kekana is well equipped with a robust understanding of political science, constitutional law, administrative, and human rights law. His drive to realize justice and deep commitment to advocating for the rights of sideline communities defined his purpose in life. In addition to leading First Service for Delivery as president, Dr. Kekana is also a councillor and a municipal public accounts chairperson at Ngakamudiri Mulema District Municipality in the Northwest. His passion for service delivery at grassroots level, especially regarding daily concerns over the provisions of water, sanitation, and housing services, remains firm. He's also concerned by the management of our country's immigration laws, education, as well as the plight of children who still lack proper shoes to wear to school. To summarize, for service delivery started contesting local government elections in 2016 and won 31 seats, as already indicated. It grew this number to 38 in 2021, ending up with councillors in various municipalities across the country. It currently holds the mayorship position in one of the country's most troublesome municipalities, the Ditsobotla Local Municipality in the Northwest. And I'm pleased, I believe the mayor is also here, so we'll engage later on with him. It is therefore with great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, that I carry out the mandate of ActionSA Senate and other structures to welcome Dr. Kekana as Deputy President of ActionSA with the leader. So I'm sure you can understand, and all of you agree with me, because our structures, both ActionSA and Forum for Service Delivery, we really realized that for the sake of our country, we need constitutional changes to accommodate to have a deputy president in our party, so of a caliber of Dr. Kekana. He and I, supported by our structures, will be working hard over the next year to consolidate and build our political footprint across South Africa, starting with pre-selected localities where our chances of success are greater than elsewhere, and growing over time to cover the rest of the country. As ActionSA, we have all intentions to prove that those who regard us as one region, exclusive urban-based party with no interest in reaching rural and other parts of the country wrong. So, ahead of the next local government elections in 2026, we shall also create new party branches to get ActionSA ready for its first elective conference for when the time is right. It is at this elective conference, whose date will be announced when all the basics are in place, that the new party leaders will be elected by duly registered party branches. Until then, our work is cut out for this. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you to watch the space. This is not the start of a new era. It is a new start of a new era. And I think also in closing, just want to really bring something to your attention, because after the 2024 elections, when I announced my reason for not going to come to the National Assembly and send 6 of our competent parliamentarians, some people obviously did not take kindly to this. They did not really have the understanding. And I tried as much as possible to explain that I will be better used by this country to be at a strategic level. And that decision for not going to the National Assembly is already bearing excellent fruits. As an example, ActionSA today, represented by former ActionSA or current ActionSA members, 101 in all 3 spheres of government. We are now, as a 4-year party, represented at local government level. We are represented in provinces, in 3 provinces. We are represented at National Assembly with 6 powerful members of parliament. Now, overnight, a 4-year political party has got additional 38 councillors in 5 additional municipalities. If you don't take this to be historic or to be strategic, then it's up to you to really make up your mind. And that's one of the reasons to just give you a sense of the role that I can play outside Parliament. You don't have to be in the National Assembly to actually do something positive for our country. Secondly, let's really look at Tshwane. Remember how I was ostracized, called names, political parties spending millions coming out with graphics showing the city of Tshwane burning with Herman Mashaba in the middle and looking at the money. That this man's, because he's black, his motive for the removal of DA from Tshwane was motivated by money. Now, look at that municipality today. It's becoming a pride of our nation. Because you remember when we took over, they said we're not going to last a month. Are we going to last until 2026? Only God knows. But we are doing everything possible in our power to ensure that the residents of Tshwane get the service that they deserve. And now we've got how many municipalities all in all with 38 councillors? Now we've got a bigger responsibility because all this service for Forum for Service Delivery councillors who are here with us today, with immediate effect, they have to be empowered to ensure that ActionSA is represented in those municipalities and ensure that we not only represent ActionSA or Forum for Service Delivery, we represent the marginalized, we represent the people of South Africa. So it is for that reason that I'm really grateful that people will begin to see over time why it is strategic and better for me to be outside of the National Assembly. Our 6 parliamentarians will continue to box not only S6, to the box S60. And that has already been demonstrated by the sterling work in Parliament. Thank you very much. And Dr. Kekana, everyone else, all the councillors from Forum for Service Delivery being here, thank you so much. It's such a great privilege for us to be doing this for our country, because this is not about our political formations. It's about the people of our country. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present the agreements of merger to the presidents of both organizations, who will proceed to sign it ceremoniously for you now. Perhaps I can invite members of the media who would like to zoom into the table to come forward, and we can appropriately capture this historic moment. Before we go any further though, I need to create some space here.
So which pen are we using, this one?
Yeah, sure. I think that's a pencil. Another pen.
Yeah.
So strange.
Okay, Dr. Let me sign. Okay.
If I may invite you to open up to the cameras.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
All righty, now that that's done, I invite us all to settle down, and let's press on with the remainder of the press conference. This is the part that I'm sure members of